Me Oldham, the new season's back, and this is my guide to this season's National League and how I think Oldham Athletic will do. And a quick brief review of last season. It's good to be back. It's the click of the terrace. It's the fans when on the pitch. It's the last minute goals. It's those euphoria when you win, the bitter moments when you lose a last minute goal, the banter with your mates, the away days in the morning, going to these places you've never heard of, hugging your player like it's a hero, the FA Cup shots, the League Cup shots, taking your mates with you, your family, from your grandson, your mum, your dad, your brother. We're a football club. It's in our blood. It's our life. It's what we wake up for. It's what makes us click in work, at home, in pubs, on trains, at home and abroad. We live for these moments. We thrive on our successes. We have our low points, but we bounce back, and we do it week in, week out, because we support our clubs. They're our passion, they're our heritage, they're our history, they're part of who we are. And the football season is back. Hello, it's Tommy Oldham, and it's been a summer from the heights of Berlin, watching England losing a final, seeing Charlton FC losing a final weeks after the season. The fact we're starting in August again and not early July, it feels like a proper footballing season rather than being rushed into April. Yes, football is back and I'm looking forward to it. I won't lie, last season ended very disappointingly. That run of form, especially from March onwards, was appalling. And I just was annoyed. I didn't do any sort of review of the season. I don't think anyone did do really, but a few things. My favourite away game last year was the 4-3 win at Rochdale and the win away at Woking. Two cracking away days. Signing of the season last year, if it was Hobson at the back. Who was my player of the season last year? Gee, that was one. First part of the season, I'd have probably said Kitchen. But overall, again, I'd probably go with Hobson. But to be fair, we weren't at our best, and that's where Mellon has to learn from this year. The chopping and changing has begun. We have seen players go. Farewell Devine Green, farewell Nathan Sheeran, Dickinson, Maguire. Just a couple of those that have gone. We did need a clear out. There was players there who basically were just, what's the word? Stockage, not doing anything deadwood. Farewell Hallam Hope. Farewell Ben Tollett also. And now we turn our attention towards this year. I'm sad to see Alfie Everton didn't sign a new deal. He's a young prospect. I wish him well. I think he'll do well wherever he goes. We have brought a few new faces in. And it's weird because this year, in my eyes, we're starting under the radar. We're not. It's not like last year was overly, very confident. I'm not. That's not in a bad way. I look at the squad on paper. We're still a top half team. I still think we're good enough to finish in the top six. Now, some people are saying, oh yeah, but there's no Wrexham, there's no Notts County. Very, very good point. But let's think of it. All of the other 23 clubs are thinking the exact same thing. I think it would be more competitive, more open, and more tighter this season. I think there's a few teams from last year that are going to kick on more. A couple who are up there don't think will have the seasons that they had last year. The two teams that have come down, theoretically, people are saying are not as strong as previous teams, but don't kid yourselves. It's not often teams go down and go back up straight away. Remember, Cheltenham did it last. I still think of the two, Forest Green still look a good bet to go straight back up. They've had a few poor seasons. It looks like the chairman, Dale Finson, has now realised that and put his money where his mouth is. Sutton, it all depends, really. I didn't expect them to go down last year, but I thought they would struggle. So that'd be a bit of a ploy, but they're sticking with a grass pitch, so clearly they've got their eyes on getting themselves back up into the league. We've got 4 newly promoted teams, Tamworth and Boston from the National League North, Yeovil, who we're very, very familiar with, and Braintree from the National League South. So here goes, let's crack on with it. So here's my predictions for the National League. Forest Green to win it. Southend runners up, Barnet 3rd, Fylde 4th, Rochdale 5th, Aldershot 6th, Oldham 7th, Solihull 8th, York 9th, Hartlepool 10th, Gateshead 11th, Altrincham 12th, Sutton 13th, Yeovil 14th, Halifax 15th, Eastleigh 16th, Ebbsfleet 17th, Dagenham 18th, Braintree 19th, Tamworth 20th, Woking 21st, Wilson 22nd, Boston 23rd, and Maidenhead 24th. As I said earlier, I could just see Forest Green. He seems to now realise how bad they've been the last couple of years. They've thrown everything out. They've made some good signings. Southend, they've still got issues with the takeover. If they sort that out, they clicked on well the second half of the season last year. Without that points deduction, they've made it into the playoffs. Barnet, again, have made out. They've done the business early. Fylde finished last season really well and looked a decent team, similar to what you can say about Rochdale. Aldershot were up there, now they missed out on the playoffs. I think 7th is just about right for us because on paper it's a good squad. Solihull, it all depends over the playoff hangover. Now York have gone out and made some good signings. What could go in their favour is if we're playing this under 21s cup to talk about, York won't be in it, so they'll have that extra game time. Hartlepool, again, you can never rule them out. Gateshead, it all depends on this ground issue. In a league where if you know you can't get promoted, what's the motivation? Oldham lost Con Clark and the director of football. I just think last year they massively overachieved. Sutton, again, it's a bit hard to promise you don't know if they're going to do well or not, but I don't really see them, like when other teams have come down, like that they're going to threaten. Yeovil walked the National League South last year, and I always say the North's far more competitive than the South. They've been here before, and mid-table should be fine. Halifax, I don't know. Again, all them games at the end of last season absolutely caught up with them in the end. Eastleigh, McCallum's goals last year basically kept them in the league. Ebbsfleet, I think they'll do all right. I'm not seeing anything next week. They'll go down, but nothing that says they'll do much more than they did last year. Dagenham's another funny one. You never know. I've always said they'll do higher than what they do, but they always seem to sell players. Braintree, if Effiong can get off the scoring, it should be enough to keep them up. Tamworth have come up on back-to-back promotions. I think that winning mentality of 2 promotions should be enough to just keep them up. Woking, talk of them having all sorts of financial problems, rumours of administration, and that's why I've put them so low down. Wealdstone changed the manager the last minute last season. He kept them up, but I'm not seeing anything that makes me think really going to do much this year. Boston, back in this, should have been in this league, but when they came out of the Football League, were actually demoted, another division demoted again, so it's took them a while to get back up here, and it's going to be a big, big slog for them. Maidenhead, again, I did tip them to go down last year. I just don't see really them cutting up any trees or anything. I know they have sold one of the players. They have made a bit of money off the player who's I've forgotten who his name is. I'll come back to it when we play him later in the year anyway. The new signings, Regan Ogley. I've only watched one friendly, and that was Radcliffe. And he looked okay. He looked like that player who can run down, he's a defender, but he can run down the wing, play the balls in, and his long throws will cause a problem. And he comes highly thought of by a lot of Scunthorpe fans. I'm not going to try and go OTT as I have done maybe with signings in the past, but it does look a good addition. Jake Priest, again, offers competition at left back and on the wing, give Kitchen a bit of run for his money. And he has experience as well. Jez Ugrubalan, I'll get his name right by the end of the season, don't worry. Doesn't look a bad player. He had a good game for us for Rochdale last year. Harry Charles is another lad who's played at a higher level. And Josh Kay played well for Fylde against us last year. And at the back, Manny Moffey, I think he looks like a unit, and he could be that centre-back we've not had since your Peter Clark, since your Gregan, a big solid unit at the back, someone that can throw his body in. And he's still in his 20s, which means we can get a good few seasons out of him as well. Again, talk about the players that have gone. So overall, the players that have gone now for definite: Green, Nuttall, Willoughby, Dickinson, Hope, Megaya, Tollett, Shelton, Ward and Sharon. There may still be a few more players. I keep hearing they're trying to get rid of Reid and Hogan. I've also heard Hogan's desperate to stay. I can't fight if he wants to stay and fight for his place, but he's got to be prepared Mellon's clearly looking at what went wrong last season. He's getting rid of the cracks, getting rid of the deadwood, and trying to bring players in to build a squad that's going to push for promotion, that's going to challenge for the playoffs. And going in under the radar is better because people are not looking at us. It's good to see people saying, oh, we'll be mid-table. Don't get me wrong, last season's form, we finished in relegation form the way we played. But I like what I've seen in the transfer market so far. And on paper, this team's still good enough to be competing up there. I think we probably couldn't have asked for a better start, Braintree at home. They've won promotion. It's not the first time they've been in the National League. They won for the playoffs. And they themselves have gone out and bought a few players. I know they were apparently looking at Fondop as well pre-season. But I could see this being a sort of game where Braintree take the lead and we turn it round and win. And they know the challenge ahead of them. Of the 4 teams that went up the previous season, we saw both Kidderminster and Oxford City get relegated. So they know it's a big challenge ahead of them. And they're in an entertaining playoff final with Worthing. And on paper, this is probably going to be one of the biggest matches in their history. But I still think we haven't won an opening game this season since Stevenage away 2013-14. And the last time we won at home was Millwall 4-3. I think it was 2008-09. So it's a long time to get rid of this opening day of the season curse. And winning breeds confidence and set ourselves on a run, which is the standard we need for the season, which is just going and trying to get as many wins behind us as possible. Our home form let us down last year badly, and we can't allow teams to come to Boundary Park and turn it into their Wembley, turn it into a fortress where we can't win at home. Home form counts. Home form is madly important. And like you say, you look at some of these clubs, and you look at the size of them and the size of us. That's why we need to utilise Boundary Park. It's not going to be an easy season. It's going to be tough. It's going to be gruelling at times. It's not always going to be pretty. But if we can make that mark, set that benchmark, make that standard, and Mellon knows the pressure is on him, but his experience at this level and gaining promotion, I'm hopeful will go in his favour. And he's clearly identified players. There has been other names. One of them who played at Radcliffe, that Otis Khan, and isn't afraid to run at players. Someone who can create a bit of magic. We're expecting better seasons from Lundstrom, who finished the season well. Garner finished well. Conlon especially, who's been made captain. Norwood and Garner. Norwood is still there despite the rumours that they're trying to get rid of him or something. Get him and Garner fit, we get both firing on all cylinders. Keep Fondop in there, especially as that impact player. It looks like Reed's back involved, which I'm liking, especially as we're lacking strikers at the moment. And if you get the ball rolling, there is optimism there. Anyway, here's to another good season, hopefully, finally, a successful one. You've seen just from the 2 previous videos, a big shout out to the Oldham veterans for the fundraising work they've done in raising money for the defibrillator. They're running courses a week, 2 weeks on Friday. It's a few days after we play Fylde in the league. If you want to get on it, drop them a message to see how you can use the defibrillator. Hopefully you'll never have to use it, but it's good to have that training be there if when I need it, because you never know when someone's life may need saving. This summer I lost 2 close friends, 2 well-known Oldham fans, Phil White and John Mouse Kennedy. Courtesy of the Oldham Armed Forces and Veteran Supporters Group, money's been raised for a defibrillator and a bleed kit. Thanks for everyone who's donated, and let's keep the donations coming, and let's hope we only have to use both of these if and when an emergency occurs. It's the plain blue and tangerine, and they were founded in 1898. Now, this is going to be their 3rd spell in the National League. In 2011, they finished Conference South champions, as it was then, having previously been in the playoffs twice prior to that, and got promotions to the National League. The highest finish was 3rd in 2015-16. And they lost to Grimsby in the playoffs. They won 1-0 in the first leg away, and the second leg 2-0 at home after extra time. The following season, they were then relegated, and that good spell they had was under the Cowley brothers. But in 2017-18, they did win the National League South playoffs to return back to the National League, but went back down in 2018-19. Their other honours include, I said, National League South Champions 2010-11, Isthmian Premier Champions 2005-06. Then have won a lot of various regional leagues, such as the Metropolitan League in 1969-70, Eastern Counties League on 3 occasions, and League Cup winners, the London League Cup winners twice, Essex and Suffolk Border League on 4 occasions, League Cup winners and Division 2 champions 3 times, North Essex League on 3 occasions, Mid Essex League, and the Essex Senior Cup and Senior Trophy. So they'll come into this division with a bit of experience, a bit of idea of what to expect. I do still think they will stay up this time. I think they're a bigger club and more prepared than Oxford City were. But let's see what happens. Let's hope today we spoil their little big day out and get ourselves off to a head start. And let's not hope it's the other way around, where they basically make this into their own little cup final and do us. I know we've had this feeling many times where a lot of fans have gone outright and said, oh, we're going to beat them and all that lot. I'm not saying it arrogant. I just think on paper today, it's a start we need, and I think we will do. All 3 kits are great kits. I know a little bit about the home kit when it first came out and the away kit. I think the 3rd kit's brilliant. It's probably better than the away kit myself. I really like it. I don't own it yet. I want to buy it today, but my bank balance tells me to hold off for a couple of weeks. So, but I think all 3 are decent. And that's it for this video. I'm not sure how often I'll be doing the vlog this year or how big they will be. I was thinking knocking it on the head, but a lot of people have asked me to keep them going. So we'll take it game by game. But either way, here's to another season. Here's to a good, hopefully, successful promotion winning year. Or as someone else said on Twitter. And that's it for this video. I'm not sure how often I'll be doing the vlog this year or how big they will be. I was thinking knocking it on the head, but a lot of people have asked me to keep them going. So we'll take it game by game. But either way, here's to another season. Here's to a good, hopefully, successful promotion winning year. Or as someone else said on Twitter, just please don't be shit this year. Tommy Oldham, see you on the terraces.